Time Bandits. Time Bandits is a 1981 fantasy sci-fi film brought to you by director Terry Gilliam. Now, Terry Gilliam, I had just featured on a previous video regarding his movie Brazil. I think I prefer this one. It's comedic and it's silly. It's kind of British. It's kind of Monty Python. I mean, of course, Terry Gilliam, famous for Monty Python before anything else. Come on, man. You remember those, old cartoons from Monty Python, the Killer Cars? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, Time Bandits is about a little kid named Kevin, a little British kid. His parents they're really caught up in the day-to-day humdrum of everyday life. They're pretty complacent. They really just want to strive towards having nicer things. Have a nicer kitchen. I mean, they're not super strict with Kevin, but, he has a strict bedtime, and one day, when he does go to bed, medieval knight bursts through his wardrobe and rides across the room into the other wall of his room. It's kind of shocking and out of nowhere, and Kevin's like, this is amazing. I mean, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow night. The next night, from Kevin's wardrobe, emerge 6 dwarves. Now, these aren't like Disney dwarves. These aren't like Dungeons and Dragons dwarves or Gimli. No, these are dwarves, like little people. Now, the Time Bandits, these guys are, well, we don't know exactly what they are when we first meet them, but they have this map that allows them to travel through time and space. And they know exactly where the gates are, and they know that they have to be in this area at one time or whatever. And what they do is they use it to go from place to place and time to time to steal shit, just to have fun. So Kevin gets caught up in this, not because he's lured by fun or anything like that, but he travels with them to a few different places, and he realizes, hey, you guys are just ripping people off. Why don't you do something? You can travel through time. Why don't you use it for something better than this? Anyway, so they go through different time periods, and they visit Robin Hood. Well, they go and they see Robin Hood, and Robin Hood is portrayed by John Cleese. And he's very proper, he's very British, he's, seems like a very nice guy, but his merry men, they're gathering up all the peasants, and for whatever reason, they disperse some wealth to, a poor person or whatever, and then they punch them in the face and send them away. What the fuck is that? Maybe it's a comment on the welfare system of Britain in 1980s or something, I don't know. They meet Napoleon. He's somewhere in Spain, I think, and they're conquering this castle. Time Bandits come in and they steal a bunch of shit from Napoleon and just take off and find the gate. And meanwhile, you get a good little skit about, what people and situations were like in revolutionary France, They go to ancient Greece and they meet Agamemnon. He's played by Sean Connery, who's very British for an ancient Greek. But he's fine in the role, and the kid forms a bond with Agamemnon, and he wants to stay there in ancient Greece and be his son. And because he's tired of his old life with his parents and back in Britain and whatever. But the Time Bandits steal him away, and they end up in the middle of the ocean, right near a ship, piloted by an ogre and his wife. Their encounter with him is kind of cool and kind of fantastical. But, this is kind of the first time we see much of the fantasy part of it. So they manage to outsmart him and escape, and you also get your movie poster image in there. But all these time-traveling heist hijinks have attracted the attention of Evil. That's right, the main villain, his name is Evil. So basically, there's a supreme being. We find out that that's who the Time Bandits are working for. or at least used to work for, before they stole his map and went running through time to steal a bunch of stuff. They end up on the Titanic, just, of course, right before it hits the iceberg. They find a gate that apparently will take them to the location of the most valuable object in the universe. Yeah, it turns out that they go to the Castle of Evil, and the most valuable item in the universe is a new kitchen. Brand new kitchen, state of the art. So, for whatever reason, they're all lured in by this. And when they get to the end of this maze and stuff like that, they encounter evil, and they have to fight evil. One guy gets turned into a pig, another guy gets vaporized, and another guy, a bunch of pillars fall on him and stuff. They go back in time and they summon tanks and Roman armies and the cavalry, Napoleonic soldiers with guns and stuff, and it's kind of cool. And even one guy goes into the future, and he has this tank with a big laser on it and stuff, and it's a pretty good action scene, and they're all fighting off evil. But at the very end, we're saved by the Deus Ex Machina, the Supreme Being, steps in and says, "Oh, well done, boys. This is exactly as I wanted you to do. I made it so that you could steal this map, and evil is destroyed, and I'll bring them back eventually when the world needs it, and or something. I don't know." And he's like, "But you clean up this mess." So they show him sweeping up crumbled pieces of the statue of evil that crumbled in front of them in their epic battle, and I don't know, it looked cool. And then at the end, we get back to present day, and it's Kevin and his parents, and their house is on fire. And he's woken, so it's oh my god, it was a dream, and but my house is on fire, and I gotta get out of this house, and that's why the dream ended the way that it did. And so, the fire is put out, and the parents are standing on the lawn, and a fireman brings them their toaster oven, and he says, "This is what caused the fire." And inside the toaster oven is this glowing, smoking piece of evil that Kevin just saw, previously in his other travels. So the kid's like, "Mom, Dad, don't touch it." And of course the dad is like, what are you on about then?" And he touches the evil rock or whatever. They both touch it at the same time. Blows him up. Kevin's parents are dead, and everybody's just kind of standing around looking at him, and he's looking at his house. What? And one of the firefighters walks by, and it's Sean Connery dressed as a firefighter, and he looks back at the kid and gives him a wink and a smile. "Now you have a nice day there, lad." And he gets on a fire truck and rides away, and then we pan out to suburban, I don't know, Worcester, Chesterfield, somewhere in England, I don't know, Yorkshire, and that's the end of the movie. Okay. So it had a really weird ending, which was kind of off-putting, but still funny at the same time. Overall, I enjoyed Time Bandits. I liked all the visuals in there. All the acting was really good. All those actors that I named before, the kid actor, Blake Kevin, was good. All the dwarves were great. So overall, I think I'm going to give Time Bandits a B+. Because B+, because I went to see this in the theater, and I enjoyed it a lot at the theater. I hadn't seen this one in many, many years. And watching it again, I was like, hey, this is why I remember this when I was a kid, and this is why I kind of thought this was pretty cool. So until next time, folks, have a good one.